I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you.
How happy is happy? When we're laughing and joking, are we happy? Or is happiness doing an activity we really enjoy? Perhaps happiness is a feeling we get when we see a beautiful sight or a happy child. Who knows what happiness really is? Like love, happiness can't really be defined, for what is true for one person isn't for another. Happiness really comes from within. If we feel a sense of contentment, peace, or joy, then we can bet we're feeling some form of happiness. As long as we're satisfied with that happy feeling, then we'll feel happiness. It's when we expect happiness to feel differently that we'll lose our happy feelings. To be happy, we need to feel the happiness that exists, even if it isn't the way we fantasized it to be. Now that says an awful lot in there. And what else I did, I went through a couple other meditation books and copied the pages and just kind of highlighted some of the things that I read on happiness, and these are just kind of random thoughts. I don't have them in any order. What I will do is read them and tell you my feelings on them. You know, one of the things that came out of here, and one of the things, the central theme of all the meditations on happiness is that it comes from within. That the new coat, the new car, the new house, the new girlfriend, they aren't going to give us happiness. That our happiness only comes from within. And the other thing that, you know, I kind of like to be happy, especially when I read this last stanza, because what it's telling me is if I'm reasonably happy today and continue to be in my sobriety, then I've got an awful lot to look forward to when I take that great journey, as Martin used to talk about. And one of the other things that comes to mind when I mention Martin is, I don't know whether it was his favorite word, but he certainly made it my favorite word when he talked about harmony. And that's when my will and God's will are going down the same pathway. And then I can really be happy in that. And that's where I think that the whole program of Alcoholics Anonymous is taking us, is on that journey to a supremely happy next life. I think that the goal, and I believe that, I can't quote it exactly, but I know in the big book, when you read it, the goal of Alcoholics Anonymous is to show us a God of our understanding and to take us into that life. Then we'll be really happy. You know, here's one of the readings. Feeling happy is a byproduct of other life experiences. Happiness comes and goes. We welcome it, but we cannot capture it and hold it. Nor can we create a recipe for achieving happiness. You know, we can't sit down and write out. I may be mistaken about this, because Father John Powell did sit down and write out a formula for happiness. It's a mathematical formula, H = I-J. And he wrote a whole book on it. Happiness is an inside job. Again, it comes from within. We can have an inner sense of joy knowing we are leading meaningful lives, even when we aren't having a particularly happy day. You know, that's a real gift, that when we know that our day isn't going real well, but our life's journey is going well. And you know, that was another thing that was said in the first. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be times of happiness and times when we aren't real happy. Again, happiness is a byproduct of living the right kind of life. Happiness is a byproduct. We can't really go out and get it. It's given to us, and it comes from within again. We can take a moment today, each time an action is called for, to consider our response. The one that squares with our inner selves and feels good is the right one. My sponsor used to tell me, you know, there's always more than one way to do things. And there's the way that hurts, and there's God's way, and God's way doesn't hurt. Happiness is our birthright. And Father John Powell says that too. He makes an assumption at the very beginning of his book that God intends for every person to be happy. And this says happiness is our birthright. The decision to be happy is ours to make. Every day when confronted with an experience, we can decide whether this is going to be a happy experience or whether we want to make it a miserable one. Again, happiness lies within. Life is a gift we are granted moment by moment, and the happiness that comes with it is a gift that's granted moment by moment. Happiness will overcome us if we let it. We can best show our gratitude for the wonder of this gift by smiling within and without. I can remember back to when I was in, I think it was my second grade teacher, said that she really enjoyed me being in class because I smiled all the time. And then somewhere down through the years and the dregs of alcoholism, I didn't smile much for a long time. Today, I think that I've gained that smile back most of the time. Happiness feels so close and yet so far away. You know, sometimes you can feel it right here. You know, it's almost like that. I've talked about that warm hand on the heart, and I've had that feeling on more than one occasion, and I think that is really true happiness. And there's other times that it's just, you know, it's out there. I know it's out there, and I know it's coming back, but it isn't with me right now. There's a happiness that comes from knowing who we are and how our lives fit in the grand design of the Creator. We are needed, and knowing that, really knowing it, brings happiness. And I think that's what Bill Wilson talks about in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, working with others. We're really needed. And he doesn't quite say it that way. He says, you know, when everything else is down the tubes, and he doesn't say it quite that way, but that's the way that I read it. When everything is going to hell in a handbasket, get out to Molly Stark or get up to Edwin Shaw, talk to those guys that are just freshly in on detox and need the help. Or talk to somebody in a meeting who you see that you know needs a little help. And it never fails to help me, probably more than it does them. We're as happy as we make up our minds to be. But happiness is the result of right actions. You know, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I will usually be happy. And again, it's back to what my sponsor said. My way hurts, God's doesn't. So why don't we do it God's way? Right actions. When I'm not doing the right thing, I'm usually not very happy. Every day we can do at least one thing we need to do to bring us closer to our goal. Accomplishment, however small, nurtures good feelings. Happiness is the byproduct. Again, it's by doing something for somebody else, getting out of ourselves, then the happiness is a byproduct. Seldom do we readily accept that painful moments are often the price tags for peaceful, happy times. Nor do we appreciate the happiness that lives within each of us. You know, and the other panelists have talked about that the pain that we have to go through to obtain the goals that we set in life may not seem real happy at the time we're doing them, but they may be necessary. And again, here it says happiness is a byproduct of an effort to make someone else happy. So there really is not that formula there for looking for it. But if we try to live in harmony with our higher power, if we try to do something good for someone else, if we take actions that are necessary to be taken, then we can be reasonably happy people.
Your eyes on me when the light in your heart is too burned out to see. Keep your eyes on me.
Swear you're all alone sometimes,
Keep your eyes on me.
and you can't find your way home sometimes.
Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me.